Going live. Yes, we are live. Thank you guys for tuning in. Not on Monday, not on Tuesday, but on Wednesday. We have all been living our best cruise lives, I will say. So thank you guys for bearing with us. We are so excited to dig in to all the exciting news that we have for you, especially a lot of Disney Destiny talk. So are you ready to get this going?
I am.
Yes.
I'm Blake, by the way. This is not
Yes.
Seth.
Oh my God. Yes. Duh. This is not Seth. This is Blake. He has joined me before. He is awesome on our attractions team, and we got to do something fun. So I'm excited to chat about it with you. Okay.
Feeling a little heroic, feeling a little villainous.
Yes. Oh my God. So much to share. We are so excited. So I'm going to get this thing going.
Please lower your head and watch your step while boarding.
Welcome to the Attractions Podcast. You are all clear for dispatch. Have fun.
Welcome to the Attractions Podcast sponsored by MEI and MEI-Travel. I am Carly.
And I'm Blake.
And we are here to talk to you about the latest and greatest in theme park news and more about what's going on in our own lives. So as you may have already guessed, Seth is out this week. He has been on all the cruises. There's been so many launches in cruise news. He was on the new MSC ship. I believe he's on the new Norwegian ship now. So I have the honor of having the fabulous Blake with me. Hi, Blake.
Hi, thanks so much for having me on. It's great to be here to talk about a really fun event we were at earlier this week.
So. Yes, I am so excited and ready to dig into it. So we're going to get to the main attraction and spill all the details on the upcoming brand new Disney Cruise Line ship, the Disney Destiny. But before we get into all those details, we had such an honor of being invited to Walt Disney World for a few days to learn all about it and just kind of celebrate all the fun that awaits. So I want to ask you, this was your first Disney media event, right?
Yes, it was. First in-person Disney media event.
Yes. What were your thoughts? I'm so excited to hear from your perspective.
It was a whirlwind. I mean, they said it on our last little goodbye dinner there, but like we had a day and a half and half a day is what it felt like, and certainly enough coverage and exciting things to dive into, which we will do that in a few minutes. But just a lot at once. This was my first time on a Disney ship in about 20 years, so every space that we went into is like, whoa! I want to just stop and look around and soak it all in. But we had a packed itinerary. But just another excuse to go back, right?
Yes. And this was really interesting because the Disney Destiny is currently being built still in Europe. So what we did was we went on its sister ship, the Disney Wish. So you hadn't got on the Wish yet. So I'm sure that was kind of like overwhelming just because it was shocking enough to go in that.
Yes,
right?
Yeah. And a lot of first, we were based at Walt Disney World, like Harley said, and then we bussed out over to Port Canaveral to see the Disney Wish. But even at Magic Kingdom, I hadn't been to Magic Kingdom in over 2 years. So like getting to see Tron, Country Bears, Tiana's Bayou Adventure, all of that was brand new for me. Got to see all those, that we've been covering, obviously. So it was... I had seen all the spoilers, I guess is what I'm trying to say, but experiencing them all in person, of course, was a great new experience, and seeing guest reactions to all of that in real time was super fun as well. Popped over and kind of said my goodbyes to the Rivers of America as well. We don't have a firm closing date on that just yet, as they prepare for those Cars attractions, but I kind of treated that as my like, all right, I'll do the riverboat one more time, soak that all in. So
I love it. Did you go over onto Tom Sawyer Island too, or just went on the?
I didn't have enough time for that, so I didn't realize both the riverboat and Tom Sawyer Island don't open till 11 a.m.
Yes.
So we had a kind of mid-afternoon flight that I kind of had to prepare for, so kind of had to pick and choose there, and I chose the riverboat. If I had a little bit more time, probably would have gone over to Tom Sawyer Island, but it was still, just soaking in that relaxed atmosphere, and all that's just going to change in a big way in the coming years. So just getting to do that one more time was special.
Absolutely. So you got to go in Tiana's for your first time.
Yes, I rode it twice, once at nighttime, once in the
Oh,
daytime.
you did
Definitely
it.
preferred nighttime. And then did it once with a lightning lane and once in the standby queue, just because for my first time, I wanted to. There's so much detail to look at
Right.
and props and stuff like that in the queue to soak in. That just kind of provides some filler into like what have Tiana and Naveen and everybody been up to since The Princess and the Frog ended. So I did kind of want to take my time with that and intentionally like I want to kind of wait and appreciate all these Imagineering details. So all of that was just amazing, so much fun.
Yes, I know. And that queue is just really something. Like I don't even need to go on the ride. Just that queue alone is an attraction. And so did you also go on Tron?
Went on Tron also at nighttime.
Yes.
I think what struck me the most about Tron that I did not expect was the immediate vibe shift when you're walking into that plaza area.
Mm-hmm.
Once you kind of get past Space Mountain, it's like a very firm, like, all right, old Tomorrowland, kind of like the 90s alien kitschy vibe.
Yep.
We're done with that. We're stepping into like sleek, modern, like grandiose Tomorrowland. So that was really cool. I also think that area definitely wins best waiting area for like if you have somebody who doesn't want to go on the ride. Oh,
Right.
like I'll wait for you after. Like it's shaded. There's so much cool stuff to look at as the coaster trains are going through the area. So love just the whole vibe of that plaza in a way that I didn't really anticipate. So.
Oh, I love that. I'm so happy for you. Did you get to try any Disney snacks that you were craving since your last visit?
We had a little bit of time at the Epcot Flower and Garden Festival on our arrival day. So I did take that opportunity to try out a few of the snack opportunities there for the festival. My favorite one that I tried was they had a really nice, I don't know if it was grilled or smoked or something, but it was some sort of specialty brie inside the Odyssey, that kind of like Orange Bird area in between Mexico and Test Track. That I definitely would have gone back for seconds on that. So that was fantastic.
Yes, there are some great bites at that festival. I had the corn ice cream recently, which is a new one that's limited.
Oh,
it is
okay.
amazing.
I tried the corn, not corn ice cream, but like corn on the cob that was like dipped in some sort of rice or something. That was fantastic. Yeah.
Yeah, there's a lot of great menus. Well, I am so excited for you. And we are going to be talking more about what we actually did, but I just wanted to see how you had a good time. So I'm so happy that you got
it was a whirlwind of a trip, but
a whirlwind. Yes, they are a whirlwind, but they're so amazing. And I'm so happy you got to go. So we have a little bit of news though to hit before we get into our main attraction. So without any further ado, let's get this going. We have been talking so much about Epic Universe, but we didn't forget that there's been rumblings for a very, very long time about a new Universal theme park resort opening near London. And now we had some major news break as if the UK approves, they will be breaking ground in 2026. This is a brand new, not just theme park, but we're calling it a theme park resort in London, just outside, about 2 hours. And we have learned a little bit more as Universal Destinations and Experiences has formally announced its plans. So they have purchased the property for this intended theme park, and it is about 45 minutes from London, located close to Bedford in England. And so we kind of first learned about this in late 2023. And to clarify, you know, this is different than that project that we're seeing in Texas, where it's kind of a scaled down for kids style family theme park. This is what they're calling a world-class theme park. So the real deal. There's also going to be an attached 500-room hotel. So the news broke out of England last week. Everyone was kind of freaking out. We don't know what stories or characters will be represented in these parks. We have had a ton of speculation and excitement, and it's a really exciting project because we know the UK, they love their theme parks. They love coming to Orlando. So now they're going to have something else closer to home. And what are your thoughts on this?
This is exciting. Yeah. So this isn't Universal's first international park. They have others in Japan, Singapore, Beijing. Is there any other? Did I miss? Is that all of them?
Yep. Beijing, Japan, Singapore. Yep. We got it.
Have you been to any of those?
I haven't, but I want to.
Okay. So I haven't been to any of those either. But yeah, it's exciting to have a Universal park in Europe. I think for those who maybe are going over to Europe and want a little theme park experience as well, in addition to Disneyland Paris, which is, semi close by, and some of the other parks they have out there. But yeah, this is cool. This is exciting. It's fun to kind of know for sure that they want this to happen, but also not know what specifically the plans are. A little bit echoing kind of the original announcement of Epic Universe was, way back 6 years ago, 2019, saying we're building a new theme park in Orlando, but we can't really tell you much about it yet. And everyone kind of speculating, well, this looks like on the concept art map, like this looks like this could be, Nintendo over here or Harry Potter over there, kind of all that speculation going on with Epic Universe. This very much kind of feels the same way of looking at that concept art and really zooming in to see, like, is this like actual, like how much of a conceptual design is this? Is this like just more of what could be, or is this like, no, we know what these Universal, like, they know, I'm sure they do, but I guess how much of that concept art that we're looking at is concrete, set in stone, versus just theoretical, what the park may or may not look like.
Absolutely. We saw so many rumors online. Back to the Future keeps popping up. We saw a little area that could look like Hill Valley. We saw a coaster. That would be my personal absolute wish. What are you hoping for over there?
I think Back to the Future would be cool. And I also think like Christopher Lloyd seems like he's very much down to continue to reprise this role. I mean, they got him back for the escape rooms at City Walk a couple years ago to record audio for that. So to have him back in some sort of actual attraction, like a roller coaster capacity, I think would be really fun and really cool as a tribute to the legacy of those films. I think it will be interesting to see what they do or don't do with Harry Potter. Obviously, Harry Potter takes place in the UK for the most part, but I don't know if there's kind of rumblings that they maybe won't do anything. And then if that is the case, is that because of some sort of thing with Warner Brothers, or is that because they assume that people in the UK don't want to go to a UK themed thing? All that kind of stuff is just kind of interesting to pick apart and speculate. But as of right now, of course, we don't know anything about any of these IPs or stories.
Absolutely. And there's also, you have to consider, Warner Brothers Studio Tour in London is a major attraction for Harry Potter fans. There's probably exclusivity there and a mileage radius, and it's just too close. So I would think that we're probably not going to see it. I also think, UK fans are coming over here for it. So they're still going to come over. So it's kind of a delicate dance of like, how do we attract new people, but, not tap into stuff that's already exhausted maybe. There's a lot of other rumblings in the renderings. There was like a water show. So people were saying maybe it'll be another Water World, a 007 show. And of course we have like distinctly English properties we could use, like Paddington. There's just so much opportunity, and I am just really excited. But, this is all dependent on it getting approved.
Right. So,
which it's looking good, but we never know. My dream would definitely be the Back to the Future for sure. So we are now coming back a little bit closer to home where we just were, and we are talking about something that, some people are going to be really, really happy about this. After COVID, a lot of things that have been taken away, some perks and amenities for on-site, never came back. So this is going to be helpful. So if you are traveling via Southwest from Disney World, there is a new airline luggage transfer service, and this could help you get your bags at the end of your vacation, and you will say goodbye to them at the resort, and they will just magically head to MCO without you. So this is interesting, and I'm also very curious because they are testing this service now at the value tier resorts. So this would be Art of Animation, the 3 All-Star properties, and Pop Century. So this pilot program launched April 3rd, and I think it's a good move. It's like we need to see some value being added. Staying at Walt Disney World is not a cheap expense. So any little bit that can kind of help with the hassle of a vacation for a family would definitely help. What do you think? Would you use this?
Yeah, this is super cool that they're adding this, even just like from a convenience factor of like I was thinking like yesterday on the flight, like preparing for the flight back, it wasn't a huge inconvenience to have to go back to the resort from the park and pick up my bags.
Right.
But if my bags were already taken care of, that would have been a little bit more time in the park, and I could have just had my rideshare pick me up from the park instead. So even that kind of thing, I think any way to add a little bit more convenience and less things to worry about while you're on vacation, I think is always a good thing. And like you said, bonus that it's not an extra fee to have to pay for this.
Absolutely. Yeah. And I didn't even really think about that because I am the same way. I always like fly back in the afternoon so I can just get a little bit of chunk of
Mhm.
park time. But then it's like yesterday, I spent an hour going to pick up my bags and then
Right.
whatnot. So basically, how this is going to work, it's a multi step process. At the beginning of your stay, so when you check into your Disney Value Resort, you can call or visit the luggage assistants to take advantage of the service. So basically, they are asking you to leave your inbound Southwest Airline tags on. You don't have to, but I'm guessing this is probably going to help them when they re-tag it or bring it to Southwest to make sure your name is on there and whatnot. And then the day before your departure, you're just going to go as usual and check in for your Southwest Airlines flight online. Then, so when you check out, you are going to drop off your bags at Luggage Assistance, which is located in all of the resort's hotel lobbies. And there's going to be a required drop off time. So when you go and drop your bags off, you're going to just have to show a form of your ID. And really, that's it. You're going to head to the airport. You're not going to go to the check-in desk with your luggage. Your bags are just going to greet you at your final destination. So that's pretty magical, I would say.
Yeah. Yeah.
I mean, I think I am like have anxiety. I never check a bag. So I might be nervous thinking when I land, like, is my bag still at Pop Century?
Right. Right. Right.
That might give
Right.
me a little bit of anxiety, but got to use those air tags. Then you can track in real time. And this service is free, which is like crazy, because there's cost for everything
Mhm.
today, and it's just exciting that they're about to, do this. And we lost, like I said, so much during COVID. One of the major things that families loved was the Magical Express. So I don't really see that coming back. Do you? I mean, what are your thoughts?
I feel like I'm not informed enough about that side of Disney operations to know, like, how likely is it that it would come back. But
Right.
it was that was a big benefit of just staying at Disney. Don't have to worry about transportation, and like you said, it was free. I have used the Sunshine Flyer or whatever it's called now.
Yeah, yeah.
It's like a third party that basically is the Magical Express style service, but you do have to pay for it. But I have been satisfied with that experience. So, but I guess we should also mention, like, the Southwest thing is just luggage. It's not any sort of transportation. You still have to
Correct.
arrange that for yourself. So
Yes. So your bags are getting the free transportation.
Right,
You
right,
are not. Yeah. So I can totally see it being really helpful with families, and you guys will have to let us know if you give it a try out.
And I
So
guess we
that
should
was it
also
for
mention real quick. We should also mention what the value resorts are. So those are the 3 all-star resorts: All-Star Sports, Music and Movies, Pop Century, and Art of Animation. So those
Yeah,
are the
so
resorts that this is eligible for.
absolutely. So it's only those resorts, and it's only Southwest. So
Yes.
we don't fly Southwest because we live in Charlotte. So we're like, you're probably on American, right? That
Right.
is what I'm always flying. But I know a lot of people love Southwest out there. So only for Southwest, only those tier resorts. So maybe they'll roll it out to more. That would be great. I know a lot of people would love it. But again, it's just good to see, more value being added to the accommodations.
For sure.
So, we had a short little news week because we had a lot of fun stuff coming up in our main attraction. But before we get there, let us hear a quick word from our sponsor.
The Attractions Podcast is brought to you by MEI and MEI-Travel. Whether your next vacation is a magical trip to the theme parks, an exciting adventure to the pyramids of Egypt, or just a relaxing cruise on the turquoise waters of the Bahamas, MEI-Travel provides premium service and expert advice to help you get the most of your vacation. They are always free of any hidden fees or costs to you. Visit them at MEI-Travel.com.
Let's try that again.
It's time for the main attraction.
And this week's main attraction, it is all what we did the last few days at Walt Disney World. We had the absolute honor of being invited by Disney Cruise Line to attend a showcase showing off everything that awaits at the upcoming Disney Destiny. So if you haven't heard, we talk a lot about Disney Cruise Line. It is in a period of rapid expansion with the fleet expected to grow to 13 ships by 2031. And so we just had the launch of the Disney Treasure last December. And next up is the Disney Destiny. This will be kicking off its inaugural season this November with 4 and 5 night sailings from Port Everglades. It is also the very first heroes and villains themed ship. Yes. How excited are you?
This is super cool. I like the theme. I like that there's you get to kind of pick your side and participate in that way. And, obviously Disney I think this is indicative of two major things that they're investing in right now. Obviously cruise lines, as you said, this is not just oh, we're adding a couple new ships. They're going from the Treasure was the 6th, I believe. So recently, pretty much they had 5 ships and then they're going to 13. That's major. And then also villains. Villains are having a moment. The Villains show that's opening this summer at Hollywood Studios. We have the Villains Land coming to Magic Kingdom kind of in the longer term over the next sometime in the next few years. So I think this is another way that they're kind of leaning into what it seems like guests are interested in both of those areas and kind of giving them an opportunity to do that. And it does seem like they really are leaning into the heroes and villains in a big way. It's not just oh, it's kind of there if you are looking for it. The whole concept of the ship and everything that you're part of, from restaurants to shows, is very much focused on the heroes and villains dynamic, which was cool to see all the ways that will kind of manifest itself.
Absolutely. Yeah. And there are many, many ways. So we are just going to kind of go through all the little nuggets of reveals that we got to see. And then that we also learned about. Disney Parks blog also revealed stuff in real time. So I want to start with the Grand Hall. This is always a favorite space of mine on Disney Cruise Line. They all kind of have their unique personalities, especially in the newer ships, the Wish and the Treasure. And on the Destiny, no surprise, they are really kicking it up a notch. The signature bronze sculpture, which is in every single Grand Hall on every single Disney Cruise Line ship, is going to be Black Panther. But we got to see some video footage of Imagineers working on it. And what I loved is it looks much different than the ones on the other ships because they're incorporated tones of silver and purple. So it's actually going to be kind of sparkly almost, and really is reminiscent of the Black Panther suit. How amazing was that?
That was really cool. So it's Black, the T'Challa version of Black Panther, and then next to him will be a sculpture of a panther, the animal panther, that they said is kind of indicative of all the Black Panthers within the lore of Marvel over time, from T'Challa's father before him to Shuri after him, and that kind of thing. So that was cool. We got to see a little maquette of that and some merchandise that would be related to that, and we got to meet Black Panther himself. I had never met him, so that was cool to visit with royalty during our visit.
Yes, we got to do that. And I'm sure Black Panther will be meeting in the Grand Hall. And I think one of the coolest things that we learned that day is that lighting is going to be a really powerful tool to transform the space of the Grand Hall. So they are using a 360-degree lighting package. And this is going to have the ability to change depending on what hero or villain enters the space. And just in the concept art that we saw, it's like taking an already beautiful canvas and then using incredible lighting technology to totally change it based on whatever story they're telling in the moment, whether it is Black Panther, whether it's Cruella de Vil coming, there's so much you could do with lighting in that space. And I think I was very excited about learning about that tidbit.
Yeah, Loki, they said, is gonna have like a
Yes.
lobby takeover as well. So that was super cool. And even like I haven't been out to California Adventure since they opened Avengers Campus, but even just if you're local to the East Coast and want some of that Disney version of Marvel in some sort of vacation experience, this is really the only, well, I mean, you get Guardians of the Galaxy at of course, but with some of these characters, this is the only East Coast based version of any sort of themed entertainment offering from Disney that you can experience. So Spider-Man, Black Panther, Loki, they're all going to be part of this, and very much for now exclusive to Disney Cruise Line, which
Yeah, I mean, this is going to be a huge selling point. Families love it. Can't get enough. I'm very excited for that. And continuing on in our Marvel path, we also learned about the new Doctor Strange themed lounge that is set inside the Sanctum Sanctorum. We learned that we're going to spot some details from the film's Chamber of Relics. There's going to be suspended spell books and a bunch of other Easter eggs. We saw some concept art for it, and we also got to try some of the drinks. And I tried this really good smoking drink. It was called the Vapors of Voltar. Did you try anything?
I forget what I tried. There was so much going on in that
I
moment. It's
know.
such like a limited amount. It was like literally, okay, you have 5 minutes to do whatever for the Doctor Strange. So I don't remember what I tried, unfortunately. But yeah, these themed lounges are really they're leaning into those a lot more with the recent ships as well. I know in addition to Doctor Strange, I believe the Destiny has Haunted Mansion Parlor, which has been a favorite on the Treasure, and a couple others. But yeah, this will be the first one that's Doctor Strange themed.
Yes. And I'm sure this is going to be one of those spots where you could probably just spend like an hour just looking at every single little detail. Every book that's going to be on the wall is going to be some part of the story. And I love that. And again, like you said, like the older ships, I love, their lounges too, but maybe they're more like a classic ocean liner. Whereas on the newer ships, the Wish and the Treasure, they are like double downing on laying into theming, and the Destiny is having so many new like debut experiences and new things they've never done. And one of them, which I'm really excited about as a live theater fan, is going to be their Broadway style production of Hercules. Are you a Hercules fan?
Yes, love Hercules. I think it's just a great balance of humor with music, with all the other signatures that make a great Disney animated film. Same directors as Aladdin, Lion King, like just the whole vibe of Hercules, I think, is just classically Disney, but also a little bit off from the norm as well in terms of kind of those contemporary references as well. So yeah, love Hercules and love seeing to get some love in this way.
Yeah, absolutely. I'm such an Alan Menken fan. He does the score. So we learned a little bit more about this production. So this is going to be the signature Broadway style production of the Disney Destiny presented in the Walt Disney Theater, included in your cruise sailing. It's one of my favorite parts because these really are Broadway style, Broadway quality, top-notch productions with an incredible team. And we heard from several of those creative members. And this production of Hercules is going to have some kind of contemporary flair. It's a modern age. The movie came out decades ago, and now they got to make it a little bit more modern. So it is going to have that today, modern day aesthetic with still the Grecian feel. We're going to see that in the staging, the set design, the costumes. They're also going to be expecting some jaw-dropping puppets. So they teased us because they showed us a little bit of the artist rendering. This will be when Hercules battles the Hydra. And if you have seen Disney Tale of Moana aboard the Disney Treasure, some incredible puppetry there. So that's kind of the level that we are expecting in this production. And then also what I was really excited about, there's going to be a new song debuting in this production of Hercules, and it is called Shooting Star. And we learned that it was actually originally supposed to be in the film, so many, many years ago, was never lost, and now we are going to get to hear it at sea. So I was like really excited for that little tidbit.
Yeah, I loved too how they said kind of their way into the story was that it begins with kind of a modern day museum type setting with a family, I guess, looking through a museum exhibit about some of these Grecian gods and goddesses and deities that Hercules characters represent, and then kind of that being our way into the Hercules legend. I thought that was really cool and a different take that's not in the movie, and I liked that as well. I think we should also note, if you're a longtime cruiser and you remember the original Hercules production that was like on the original ships in like the 2000s. My only cruise that I've taken, that was the ship that was the show that was happening. But this is not that. That was very like tongue in cheek, almost kind of like the old Aladdin show at California Adventure, where it was like almost like Hades was like a stand-up comic character with like very, very topical references to like jokes that were like about that week's news stories and like celebrity gossip and that kind of stuff. So this is not that. This is completely a little bit more I think less whimsical is the right word maybe than that version of the show. But
I mean, I haven't seen that because I didn't go on the cruises that long ago, but it sounds like kind of like a classic cruise ship show where this is like distinctly Disney, and what they're doing is we're doing like an excellent stage production that can hold its own at any theater, and we are gonna have this creative team behind it. And it was so awesome to hear them just kind of chat, and they seemed really passionate about it. They were
talking about just kind of their inspirations for the musical direction, and like you said, the puppetry and all of that was just really cool to hear them talk about all of that and what they're going to bring to it. And we got to see Hercules himself. They said they had just finished the casting process to cast their lead role of Hercules, and we got to hear him sing "Go the Distance," which was just stellar.
Yeah, it was incredible. And I did notice in the musical arrangements, it was definitely modernized with like a little bit of almost a R&B flavor in there. It was still that like power pop ballad that we know from the film, but kind of just brought in with a new interpretation of it. And I love to see that, like do your own twist, give it to me. I like it.
Definitely.
Yeah, he was incredible. So what we are going to go to now is what I am most excited for on the Disney Destiny. I love a good piano bar, and we are talking about Cruella de Vil's Piano Lounge, which is called de Vil's, which I love the name. She's too cool to be Cruella. It's just de Vil's Piano Lounge. This is going to be an all-new adult exclusive space. So no kids allowed. And so that might be music to so many people's ears. You can have kids in Haunted Mansion, Hyperspace Lounge on the Wish. No kids will be allowed in here. And we got to go, which was my favorite part of the day, is they took a ballroom in the Contemporary Convention Center, and they kind of transformed it into the flair and the flavor of what we can expect in the space on the ship. And it was incredible. I mean, they're definitely trying to like exude glamour. They said it was inspired by Hollywood Regency architecture. And my favorite part was we got to see the actual Dalmatian spot piano that they're going to be using on the cruise. How cool.
That was really cool. Cruella herself did make an appearance, kind of crashed the party. And we kind of got almost like a test run, a prototype of what they said that character interaction will be like. I think villains are very popular as meet and greet characters, but I think in the past at some of these, especially at some of the after hours villains events, when you have a traditional meet and greet opportunity with like photos and autographs, that kind of thing, people are waiting in line for hours to see characters. And often you really don't have time for much interaction. It's just picture, all right, let's go on to the next family. But it really seems like there are going to be more unique opportunities on the Disney Destiny ship for more unique character interactions. For example, at DeVille's, she kind of crashed the piano session and basically almost did like, she really took command of the entire room and kind of got us all forming a circle and was basically kind of judging everyone's outfits. And, she is a villain, so she had some maybe constructive criticism to say, shall we say, about some of our fits, but also people are coming dressed in their kind of villainous flair as well, so she was complimentary of a few outfits as well. But just that kind of vibe, it seemed like they're leaning into that style of interaction that gets the whole room involved in honestly what I think is a much more memorable character experience than the traditional smile for a photo route.
100%. I totally agree with you. I am not a wait in line to meet a character. So when there's any sort of these special interactions, even as simple as like at Magic Kingdom, Big Al will sometimes come around and
Yes.
literally just
Yeah.
walk around. That's what I want to see, him interacting. I don't want to wait in a queue, and I'm glad you mentioned the after hours at Disneyland because I have seen Cruella a few times at Oogie Boogie and she's so popular. But
Yep.
again, like you kind of just get to walk by her on the treat trail and she'll like call out to you, some roast, but she's really on a stage. So the kind of concept for this to where she's almost like a guest alongside us, that's kind of what it felt like. If she was just like coming to her own lounge and just, taking over the room is just such a unique concept. And I can't wait to see it actually in real life. And like, how is this going to play out? How often is she going to be there? Am I going to want to spend like 3 hours there because it's so much fun? Like there's some really, really cool things with this. And of course, since it is a lounge, there will be specialty food and drinks available. And we already knew about the strawberry shortcake popcorn, which I cannot wait to try. I didn't get to sample it at the event. Did you? I mean, I saw the display.
I didn't, unfortunately. It was again just like so much happening that it was like it was like after the fact. I was like, I forgot to sample the popcorn, but the popcorn was there, and I heard it was fantastic from
I can't wait for that
Scott
too. And there's also a bunch of fun drinks. We got to try the Fashionista, which is a perfect word to be used for a cocktail, and this included strawberry and banana infused tequila. So definitely Disney Cruise Line has some really cool exclusive venue drinks, which I love. And so you could totally really just like hop around and try whatever those specialty ones are. But I really cannot wait for this space. It looks like it is going to be incredible. And then finally, our night, we had a beautiful dinner and they were recreating what we'll be able to soon experience in Pride Land Feast of the Lion King. So this is part of the rotational dining aboard the Disney Destiny, and it is a musical journey, much like Frozen on the Wishes, Tiana's. So this is going to be included in the dining. It's not an upcharge. And my God, they again transformed a ballroom and they just kind of tried to capture what that setting and atmosphere that we're going to experience. And I think it was so cool. The room is going to be lined with windows that overlook kind of like a savanna. And throughout your dining experience, they're going to be recreating different like times of day, whether it's sunrise over the savanna or sunset. There's an original instrumental background music so it makes it kind of like this multi-sensory experience. And it was a vibe, right? I mean, it was a vibe.
It was really cool. Yeah, especially we went immediately from Corella's literally right next door into Lion King. And it was almost like, I think I said to you, like, I want to live here. Like, it was just very much like, oh, this is such a different atmosphere, tone, flair. But yeah, this was theater in the round kind of setup, similar to Coco or Frozen on the other ships. And yeah, this was super cool. And obviously, I don't, unlike Hercules, I wouldn't by any means say like Lion King has been underrated over the years. Lion King has been a sensation for Disney, very lucrative, very popular,
but underutilized in some ways.
Yes, they mentioned this was the first restaurant experience for Lion King, which was like that's surprising for a film as well known and popular as this. Same thing with the ride that they're building over in Paris. That's kind of like a Tiana's Bayou Adventure, but Lion King. First Lion King ride. You hear that and you're like, wait, what? I mean, we have Festival of Lion King, which I love and is fantastic, of course. But yeah, it's nice to see them kind of experiment with different expressions of what a Lion King experience can be like.
Yeah, absolutely. And we got to learn a little bit more about the experience. We saw kind of the stage setup, how it's going to be. We also got a peek at the cast costumes, what were great. I love seeing all the plateware. It's so interesting to me how every little detail, and there was like a little, there's little lines on there. They were so cute. And even like the kids menu we saw, people I know are going to freak out over the sipper that features Ed. Did you see that?
Yes, the hyena.
Yes.
The hyena has a sipper that will be exclusive to this. I believe the entertainment directors said that they had also been involved with the Tale of the Lion King at Disneyland.
Yes, I did hear that. Yeah, so it's like, this is going to be an all-star team behind it, and I love, like, those musical dinners on the ship are always what I look forward to because it's just so much fun. It's interactive, and it's dinner and a show, literally. And we got to see. So what I kind of gathered is we didn't really see like what we're going to see on the ship. It was just kind of a celebration of the music. So we got to see some incredible performers, perform some of the hits from the show. So I can't wait to see like what it's actually going to be. Are they going to use puppets like some of the other, musical dining adventures use? So I can't wait to learn just a little bit more about what the actual like entertainment portion of this dining experience is going to be. I also thought we got to try some of the food, which was amazing. We all sat together. So if you saw all of us, we had like all these different plates. There were so many different dishes, but I have to say, I am not even like a huge red meat person, but there was a port wine braised center cut beef short rib, and it was amazing. Did you try that?
I didn't try that, but I did go back for seconds on those mashed potatoes, which were just fantastic. They were so good. I also loved the soup, which I believe was some sort of like, I forget the flavor, but the soup was fantastic. And my favorite dessert. Did you try that little pineapple style cake
I
thing?
tapped out. No, I looked at everything, but yeah,
so
it's so hard. Yeah, there was a lot. Yeah, I'm very excited. I mean, I love food aboard a Disney cruise. It's usually really good. The customer service is great. So I think this is going to be another smash hit for them. And then there were also some drinks that we got to try that will also be served just exclusively in the Pride Land space. And one of them, I love the name. It was called Can You Feel the Rum Tonight? Maybe after a few of these, you will start singing the song with rum in there. And this was great. It was kind of like an alcoholic mango smoothie. I don't even know how to explain it, but it was very rummy, fruity, delicious. There was also the non-alcoholic smiley yet satisfying, which was kind of like a bluish green color with a gummy worm in it. It was really good. Yeah, it was a great event, and it was kind of nice to learn about something, but also like it was an experiential learning. They weren't
right,
like,
for sure.
We were actually like going through the journey.
Yeah, I'm curious to see how much of how broad of a stroke is this in terms of how much of the Lion King legacy are we celebrating? Is it specific to that original film? Will it include some of the Broadway songs, some of the newer songs that they've incorporated into the franchise over the years? Are, is something like Spirit, Beyonce's song from the remake, is that on the table? Is anything from the Mufasa movie on the table for in terms of the programming, that kind of stuff? So it seemed like maybe it's just the original animated film, but regardless, really excited to it was exciting just to see even just a little glimpse, a little taste of what that will look like.
Yeah, I love the they had like an African drum troupe come out and play, and it was just, I feel like this is going to be so amazing. I'm sure that they're going to make it a really great restaurant concept. And yeah, I kind of did get the vibe that it's going to be a celebration of like the Lion King that we grew up and loved. And I think that's absolutely perfect to kind of do it justice. And, like we have said, it's really haven't gotten its time and its rightful place. Obviously, the Broadway show is a smash hit. Production at Animal Kingdom is a fan favorite, but some other new ways that we can dig deeper into the storytelling. So I'm really, really excited for that. We also got to see a lot of the merch and also get some of the merch. I'm wearing the Disney Destiny hat.
I have my hero mini pin on.
Yes. So I have no shame. I love merch. I've spent way too much money on everything. Disney World, Disneyland, Disney Cruise. I want it all. I have to say, I have never owned a Loungefly backpack, and we got the
really.
I've never been a Loungefly backpack girl. None of them have drawn me in, but the Disney Destiny one is amazing, and it's modeled after Minnie. So it has like her blue jewel tones that she has on her, like hero belt and whatnot. I absolutely love it. And even all the clothing we saw, there's also some like understated pieces. There was like a really nice hip bag that was really just black and said Disney Destiny. And it was really great. And there was also really colorful stuff. There's like a Mickey and a Minnie shirt that you can, two people can get and wear. I loved it all. It was good.
Yeah. Some of my favorite items, I think, for me were they had quite a few merchandise souvenirs inspired by the statue of Spider-Man that's going to be on the outside of the ship.
Mhm.
So it's Spider-Man as like the exterior statue, which is like a Disney Cruise Line tradition, but he's surrounded by spider bots from
Yes.
the Avengers Campus ride, which was kind of a new, cool creative nod. But there's a Loungefly inspired by that. There's a Spirit jersey inspired by that. Those looked really cool. And then I also liked their kind of like Hero Mini is kind of like the emblem of the ship, kind of the mascot of the ship. But then she also has her squad of kind of Avengers style pals with her, like Mickey and friends. They formed their own little superhero team that was represented in some merch, like pins and action figures and that kind of stuff. It looks like they all have their own superpower, which was what I thought was cool. It looks like Pluto has a super bark on there, which I thought was awesome. Superhero Pluto was like everything I needed in my life that I did.
Yeah, I mean, we got to see Minnie in this costume, and I loved it. I don't know, there's just something about the colors of it where it is really classic superhero, but it works. It is just, I loved it so much, and I'm just glad with the direction that they went with it. I love how it came out, and I'm just really excited. I mean, you could really like choose your side on this cruise, and a lot of people,
definitely,
you know what I mean, like clothing wise, when you go to Disney cruise, everyone's wearing, Disney shirts and whatnot. I mean, it's going to be so fun to kind of walk around, and you're going to see like who is in, a Cruella outfit, or, who loves Ursula, and just kind of every day you can kind of make that like an extension of your cruise experience. And I love the new theme that they're going in with this. And it really is just so different than what you experience on the other ships.
Definitely.
Yeah. So I'm trying to think, is there any, we did a lot, but we
did a lot.
Yeah.
A lot of details about the ship were previously announced though. So there was so much already revealed that we kind of zoomed in on a few key areas and just learned more information about it. But there were a lot of other things that were revealed last year. Like there's going to be a new version of the Aquamouse story that's more like villains themed, and it's still Mickey and Minnie, but I believe the concept art showed Chernabog from Fantasia as being part of that story. So that's going to be, I would imagine, exclusive to the Destiny, but certainly it's going to debut with the Destiny. That's the first time that we've seen that story. So Hercules is the only original show on the ship, but of course there'll be other shows involved. The favorite, Seize the Adventure, Seize the Day, Seize the Adventure,
Disney Dreams. There's a bunch of Disney Cruise Line productions. So every night on Disney Cruise Line, if you haven't gone, you can go to a show, but there's only usually one, I would say, like the flagship show. So Hercules is the flagship, but you're still going to get entertainment the other night. And those other shows are really great. They're original productions. They're always really fun, great with characters. And it's, again, these are high quality performances. These are Broadway caliber acting, singing, dancing. So it's one of my favorites every single night on a Disney Cruise Line ship. And there's going to be so much even more to come from the Destiny, just Disney Cruise Line in general. I mean, with, like we said, 13 ships by 2031, it seems like there's news all the time. And we have the Disney Adventure also coming this year, which is the first ship, dedicated to the Asian market. And there's a lot of news with that too. So it's an exciting time if you're, and also if you are not a cruiser, maybe this is your time to try it. I love going on Disney cruises. I don't have kids. I go on with my mom, my sister, my husband, and it's so fun. And I love how, we have even more to look forward to with the Disney Destiny.
Yeah, I think even like I think cruises, particularly Disney cruises, for those who are familiar with the parks, I feel like they are really the spaces where you see all the trends in how people are spending their times in the parks. Like, well, they've been on the cruises and they're leaning into that more. Like, for example, some family members got back from a recent trip to Walt Disney World. They were talking about their time in Animal Kingdom, and they didn't really intend this to be the case, but during their visit in Animal Kingdom, pretty much they just walked around and then visited the Nomad Lounge and hung out there for a while. And that was all they wanted to do. And they were fully content with that. And they had a great time. But it was like, well, that's a cruise style experience where you're experiencing Disney atmosphere without really the need to go on a bunch of rides or do a lot of, all the traditional theme park style things. Obviously it's Disney, so you do have a little bit of that integrated and everything on the ships. But yeah, I think, if the food and beverage and the dining and the more relaxed style of a Disney vacation is what you love the most about the parks, I think cruises are a great space to kind of really indulge in that.
Absolutely. That's a perfect way to put it. You get all the Disney magic. It is just as magical. It is all the feels, it is all the characters. And it's also that, quality of customer service and just the caliber of everything at that level that we just have kind of expected from Disney at sea, more relaxed. You don't have to plan about lightning lanes. There might be a little few things you got to sign up for, like a royal gathering, but you don't have to. You really just can show up and just kind of soak it all in. And obviously cruises, a lot of people, even young people, old, all ages, are turning to cruising as their new vacation style if they hadn't previously done it. So it's an exciting time if you're a cruiser, and an even better time to start, give it a shot.
Definitely.
Yes. So we are so excited. And again, the Disney Destiny will kick off its inaugural season this November on 4 and 5 night sailings out of Port Everglades. That's out of Fort Lauderdale, Florida. So thank you guys so much for hanging out with us as we kind of nerd out on all things Disney Destiny. And before we go, we want to say another thank you to our sponsor, MEI and MEI-Travel. And I want to remind everyone to please giving a rating and review on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, or wherever you listen to us. And of course, give us a like and subscribe on YouTube to not miss out on any of the action going on. And we post across everything on attractionsmagazine.com and Attractions Magazine on your favorite social media accounts. Blake, where can everyone find you and keep up with you?
Yeah, so I'm the managing editor of our website content. Yes. So anything you see on attractionsmagazine.com, I oversee the team of writers who provide that content, including Carly. She has a bunch of food-related content on there. Something we're really excited that just launched this past weekend is a special dedicated page just for Epic Universe. So attractionsmagazine.com/Epic Universe. We have so much coverage from literally 6 years of Epic Universe stuff. But sometimes if you're looking for it, previously the only way to kind of find it was either search for it or, just go in reverse chronological order through all of our stuff. So we consolidated the best of that content and organized it by, what are you looking for? Are you looking for ride reviews? Are you looking for food? Are you looking for vacation planning tips? You're planning your day at Epic Universe. You want some pointers on how to spend it, that kind of stuff. Or if you want to look at construction progress over the years, that's just so cool now that we're here at the opening season to look back at the progress of that over time. So I hope that's easy to find what you're looking for, and you can spend some time looking through that at attractionsmagazine.com/Epic Universe, including Carly's content on the food that she got to preview earlier this year. So
yes, I did go through it. It looks amazing. You should be so proud. It's very easy. I just clicked food and then I saw everything pop up. So there's so much. I mean, we're used to covering attraction openings or land openings, but this is a whole new ball game with all of us covering a full park. And it's an exciting time. It's an overwhelming time, but it is all great. And you can follow me on Instagram at Adventures by Carly. And until next week, I hope everyone stays safe, tries something new, but most importantly, have fun. And we will see you next time. Bye.